Anger is like a flame. If you temper it, it becomes useful. If you let it get out of control, it rages and turns into a forest fire, destroying everything around it. It's up to you to take a breath to understand how do you want to use what you're feeling in this moment. Welcome to Secrets of the Wandering Wolf. I'm your host, Tom, the Wandering Wolf, and you're listening to another episode of Wisdom Wednesdays. And as always, thank you for tuning in. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about anger. And in the intro, it mentioned how anger could be a guiding light. It could be useful, it can be helpful, or it could be a raging forest fire that destroys everything. It will absolutely destroy everything if you let it get out of control. How do we deal with this anger? Well, for one, we need to figure out, is it our own anger or is it someone else's and we're taking it on? Differentiate between the two. If someone gets you angry, I would tell you to give yourself a couple days. I like Marcus Aurelius' 3-day rule. And it's when you're angry, separate yourself from the situation and give yourself at least 3 days. It could be less, but I wouldn't go any more. If it's any more than that, you're purposely taking on whatever this energy is. And so here's my version of this. On your first day, you separate yourself from the problem. You don't answer phone calls, emails, text messages, or any of that. You give yourself the full day to be separate from everything. Now, that might be hard if you have to work with the person or you have to live with them, but I would do as much as possible to separate yourself from the situation. Doing this allows you to find some peace, give you some clarity, calm down. If you're a raging bull, you get to relax, take a deep breath. I would recommend and highly recommend a nice long walk. You can exercise, you can do martial arts, you can do all the things, and you can meditate too, but I would recommend a walk because the walk allows you to think and move at the same time with very little risk of getting injured or hurt. I would definitely pay attention if you're walking on a street, but it's a low risk movement. On the second day, I would write everything down. I would figure out what's really bothering me in this situation and what did I do to cause this? You're taking accountability on that second day and you're really looking inwards. Like, did I open this door? Is this my fault? Did I say something that gave them authority? Or, at work, did I do something I wasn't supposed to? Did I miss something? Or maybe your spouse is just mad at you and you didn't do something. Again, take accountability where you messed up. And if you didn't mess up, and this is being pointed at you, and that's why you feel triggered to anger, now you understand, okay, I can't control what the other person's feeling, but I can better control how I respond. And so you give yourself the second day to really think about how you're going to move forwards. And by the third day, you should be good. On the third day, I would still recommend you take that full day of space, meditate, journal. If the anger's still coming up, try to work that out. On the fourth day, confront the problem. Now, some issues require faster responses. So you would just take all 3 days worth of stuff and try to fit that in a day. That's a little hard. That's a little bit more advanced, but it's doable and it can happen. If you're someone who manages their anger pretty well, and this is something suddenly happening, follow the blueprint. I would split the day into 3 parts, if that's the case. First part is recognizing there's anger. Where is it coming from? Me or them? Me or the situation? Second part would be go exercise, go for that long walk, maybe do the exercise and then meditate on it. And then on the third part, I would go back to writing down how you feel, where you're at now, and have you calm down enough to have a conversation or to fix the situation. This 3-day rule has been essential to me managing my anger in a healthy way, allowing it to have space to be seen and to be understood. I think that when you're angry, the best thing you can do, if you don't have time or you need to get it out right away, go find something physical to do. Martial arts, sports, exercise, movement of any kind. You could do breath work and yoga. That'll really help. It'll give you the space to really move that energy out of the way so that it's not enhancing anything else you feel. I would recommend doing journaling and meditating and being in ceremony after all of that. This way, you're getting the most out of those practices. But the most important thing is if you recognize that you're angry with someone, is talking with them and working it out the best way you can. Pointing fingers is never a good idea. And remember that when you point a finger at someone, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you. As always, thank you again for listening to another episode of Wisdom Wednesdays. If you found the information useful in this episode, please like, share, subscribe, and let others know that there's more like this coming. There are links in the description below on where you can find me, what I'm up to, and what's going on. There are events coming up this year. If you're local, please keep an eye out for those. And thank you again for listening to Secrets of the Wandering Wolf.